Hello and welcome to the Premier League Invitational. I'm Adam Smith and I'm pleased to say I will be alongside Joe Tomlinson as we look to find out who is the ultimate FIFA 20 player in the Premier League. It is the fifth and final day. We started on Tuesday. All Premier League clubs have been represented either by a player from their squad, an ex-player or celebrity fan. We've had influencers, we've had a BAFTA winner, a World Cup winner and a world champion. We started with 20 players. We're down to just 4, Joe.
Yeah, we've had 4 epic days of FIFA, haven't we? We've seen 94 goals so far, so hopefully we get plenty more entertainment like that today. Just a quick reminder though, please do stay home and help save lives. The prize fund from this EPL Invitational is being donated to the Players Together initiative as well, so that is great to see. Now, all the players really want to win this tournament. I mean, just listen to Max Aarons here when we asked him how big it would be to lift the trophy.
Yeah, massive. I fancy myself as a FIFA player. I think I'm a very good FIFA player. So I think it's down to me to kind of back up my words really, and hopefully go on and win it.
So there's Max wanting to win it, and we can have a look at the games coming your way today because there is some exceptional fixtures. First and foremost, Aston Villa versus Liverpool. The 2 top scorers going head to head. It's going to see Keenan Davis versus James Maddison. The next fixture, we'll see Norwich go up against Sheffield United. It'll be Max Aarons against John Egan. We can see the draw in full as well here. James Maddison, to get to this stage, had to play an extra round than everybody else. Just a quick reminder, he beat Callum Wilson 8-1 in that round, so made it look fairly easy. Then he scraped his way past Max Meyer 3-2 before beating Michael Obafemi on golden goals. As for Keenan Davis, he's been scoring goals for fun, beating Liverpool legend Jose Enrique 6-1 and Burnley's Charlie Taylor 8-1 in a quarter final. Smithy, for the people that are just joining us for the first time, can you please explain some of the rules?
Yeah, I'd love to. These are the all-important rules you need to be aware of for the EPL Invitational. It is a straight knockout tournament. You lose one game, you are out. It is as simple as that. And each round consists of just one game. Every Premier League club is represented either by a player from their squad, an ex-pro or celebrity fan. But importantly, all ex-pros and celebrity fans are now out. We are down to just 4 current Premier League players. These are the all-important in-game rules. Each match will consist of 2 6-minute halves. In the event of a draw, golden goal will be used to determine the winner, just like it did in EPL Invitational 1 when Diogo Jota needed golden goal to beat Trent Alexander-Arnold of Liverpool in the final. And finally, 85 rated Premier League squads in kickoff mode to find out who is the ultimate FIFA 20 player.
Yeah, we've seen some brilliant games over the last few days and some even better goals. We can have a look at the 10 best goals of the EPL Invitational here too. This one was from Roberto Firmino for Jose Enrique. Look at the celebration, mirroring Bobby's celebration in real life. Fantastic finish. Number 9, Olivier Giroud. This one was for Emerson. He picked the ball up about 45 yards from goal with Olivier Giroud and smashed one in at the front post. Number 8 was for Jay Rodriguez and Charlie Taylor. This left-footed finish was really a nail in the coffin for Phil Foden as Charlie Taylor progressed through. 7 came in for Harry Kane. He was Ryan Sessegnon's danger man and really put the nail in Spencer Owen's coffin too. Jack Grealish has number 6. How about that for a finish into the top corner from Keinan Davis? That was one of 8 goals he scored against Burnley. Number 5 is James Maddison's goal that knocked out Michael Obafemi in golden goal with his own character. Michael throwing the pad down after that one. Number 4 came from David Mcgoldrick. How about this for a finish in the 90th minute to win the game, top corner past Jofre Archer. Wow. Number 3 was from Michael Obafemi with himself. He scored 7 goals against Tony Bellew, including 5 with his own character. That was the pick of the bunch, twisting and turning, and look at that celebration. Number 2 came from Kelechi Iheanacho against Michael Obafemi. The cutback and the left-footed finish that sent Madders absolutely wild in his own front room. Number 1, though, has to be Paul Pogba. How about this? Top corner from Jofre Archer, 20 yards out. An absolute screamer, Smithy. He was very happy with that one.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there, Joe. That is, without doubt, for me, the goal of the tournament. It was also quite hard to condense them into just 10 because, as you said, we've seen so many goals. That has been a real theme of this tournament. Goals galore we've witnessed, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, Keenan Davis in particular has been scoring goals for fun, hasn't he? 14 goals in 2 games, including 8 at the quarterfinals. However, there have been some really assured defensive performances as well. Look at the likes of Max Aarons. He looks really solid. So I'm hoping we get more entertainment today. Maybe not loads of goals, but lots of tense FIFA.
We can have a look at this. Is an interesting graphic, this one, Joe, because it shows who are the top scorers of the tournament so far. Because as we said, there have been so many goals, been blessed to witness. James Maddison leads the way, 15 goals. He is quite simply the top scorer in the whole tournament. Now, interestingly, second on this list is Keenan Davis with 14. So that's only 1 goal less, and they play each other in semi-final 1. Worth pointing out, James Maddison has played a game more than Keenan Davis because he came through that round 1 qualifier. Michael Obafemi up there as well with 10, although 7 of them were against Tony Bellew. It's worth pointing out. The other thing that is interesting about this list is someone that isn't even on this list, Joe, and that is Max Aarons, who is one of our semi-finalists, not one of our top scorers. He is the lowest scoring of the 4 semi-finals, only scoring 7 goals so far.
Yeah, only scored 7 goals, but he's definitely still one of the favourites, isn't he? He's an extremely competent FIFA player, and I think the fact that he's only conceded 2 goals in the whole tournament really shows you just how well-rounded he is. He's been at 3-0 up in both of his fixtures so far when he's conceded his goals as well. So the game's been pretty much done and dusted. I think Max Aarons, despite the fact he's only scored 7 goals, should not be written off, Smithy.
And the other thing is, Joe, people that watched EPL Invitational 1 will know that the predictions haven't been going particularly our way. Of course, Todd Cantwell, favourite in that one, was out in his first game. And Spencer Owen, favourite in this one, was out in his first game. So are we going to just ease down the predictions a little bit from now on, do you think?
Yeah, I'm not making any more predictions. Every time I call someone a favourite, they go on to lose. And, you know, on the top of my head, I'm thinking Keenan Davis might well be the favourite. He scored 14 goals in 2 games. However, if I call him the favourite, he's probably going to lose. So I'm not going to call anyone the favourite. I'm not making any predictions today because I'm always wrong, Smiths.
Okay, I love how modest you are. As well as Joe and myself, we are joined by our 2 FIFA casters, Brandon Smith and Richard Buckley. There, oh, Richard Buckley's got dressed up. He's got the blazer on. So I'll be asking you a lot of questions about the attire shortly, Richard. But Brandon, let's come to you first. The other thing that we haven't spoken about is how entertaining this tournament's been. We've seen some great FIFA action. We've seen a lot of goals. But we really have seen some war of words, particularly with James Maddison. We saw Michael Obafemi say to Tony Bellew, take your son out of the room because this is not going to be pretty. Which, by the way, can we not critique any more of Tony Bellew because I don't want to get on the wrong side of Tony Bellew anytime soon. But we have seen some really feisty encounters, Brandon, haven't we?
Yeah, we have, Smithy. It's been a really, really interesting tournament, this one. And the fact as well that we're seeing 4 new finalists today. We're seeing 4 new teams in the second EPL Grand Finals day compared to what we saw last time out. We've seen, favourites, Wolves get knocked out of the tournament. As you said, West Ham as well, Spencer Owen get knocked out quite early on. But we'll talk about Tony Bellew, I'm sure, for a long time after this one. It was such an entertaining game between him and Michael Obafemi. But we've had so many laughs. I think Joe touched upon it earlier. We've seen 94 goals in total over the 4 days so far, coming into day 5. So, yeah, it's been an amazing few days, and I really can't wait for day 5 to unfold.
Yeah, this is day 5. Just a quick reminder, this is finals day, so it all comes down to today. So I presume, Richard, that's why you've got dressed up for the special occasion. Special blazer for a special day.
Yeah, a special blazer, special man, Smithy, as well, here in the final. I mean, it's a finals day. It's not a finals if I'm not wearing a blazer. It just takes it up that extra 5%. I'll give you a stat, though, as well. We talked about the goals, the conceding as well. Keenan Davis only conceded 2 goals in the entire tournament. 2 goals. This man is the favourite. You can have all your predictions you want. This is the Richard Buckley favourite. This is the only favourite that matters. He's winning the tournament.
Yeah, Richard, you've been quite strong with your predictions, and I think you alluded to it on day 4. That Brandon has sort of made quite a few predictions, shall we say.
I mean, Brandon, I don't know where this crystal ball is. You've made like 35 predictions in the entire tournament. What's happening, mate? What is happening?
Right, this needs clearing up because this has been going on for far too long. All right, this is going for far too long. I did make a point. All right, I did say a few points about who's going to win. Maybe I said a few too many players could win the tournament, but I did say Max Aarons on the left-hand side of the bracket would go to the final, And I said on the right side of the bracket, James Maddison would go to the final. So my prediction is still okay, Richard. I still feel like they'll be our grand finalists today. It'll be Max Aarons up against James Maddison. You're saying Keenan Davis will win the whole thing. He's looked good. I agree with you. He has looked really good.
I mean, without doubt, he's looked the best player. He's looked the most well-rounded player, in my opinion. But anything can happen in a game of FIFA.
Joe, it's an interesting point Richard made earlier there about, I suppose we were dwelling on the goal scorers because there have been so many goals, but defensively, we should touch upon that as well, because Keenan Davis only conceding 2. That could be a real strength for his going into a semi-final.
Yeah, we got 2 players that have only conceded 2 goals, haven't we? Max Aarons and Keenan Davis. But, you know, James Maddison as well, just because they're not conceding goals doesn't mean they haven't had to overcome adversity. James Maddison's had to come from behind twice. They're really, really tough matches to do so. I know that Buckers in commentary earlier in the week was talking about, because it is that one-game shootout, very rarely do you see a comeback. Well, Maddison has been involved in 2. So I think we should maybe put a little bit more respect on James's name, because we've been bigging up Keenan Davis with amazing results, don't get me wrong. But I think that clash in particular is going to be super entertaining.
Yeah, and that clash is our first semi-final. I'm pleased to say we can speak to the players. So first up, Keenan Davis of Aston Villa. Keenan, how are you feeling going into the semi-final? Be honest, are the nerves kicking in a bit?
Yeah, I was a bit nervous, but feeling all right now, so it should be a good game.
Let's have it right. You've scored 14 goals in 2 games. It's been quite straightforward for you so far compared to some of the other players, hasn't it?
Yeah, the people I've come up against haven't really tested me so far, but I reckon this will be a good test. So I'm just looking forward to it.
And of course, in EPL Invitational 1, John McGinn, I mean, we all know what happened to John McGinn. He got hammered, let's have it right, in his first game. And you've been the exact opposite. Have you had words with John McGinn? I presume you haven't been asking him for any tips going into the semi-final.
No chance. But I saw his games, but I'm just going to represent better.
Okay, you are coming up against James Maddison, and we have called it all week. He has been the king of the mind games. He's got in the head of every single player that he's played. And I know that you probably agree with that because you're smirking. Against Michael Obafemi, he even referenced the 9-0 Premier League scoreline from this season and said that he was living in his head rent-free. So how are you going to combat the genius mind games of James Maddison?
Well, Obafemi fed into it. I'm just going to keep composed and just focus on myself. Just ignore him.
You just ignore him. Okay, Keenan, Madders can hear you, he can see you. So finally, do you have a message for James Maddison before we commence?
Not really a message, but I just know I'm going to win.
Oh, there we go, Joe. Fighting talk. It's as simple as that. Keenan Davis says he's going to win. And I think I saw Madders with a little smirk there.
Madders, were you laughing then when Keenan said he's going to win today?
Yeah, I was laughing. Keenan's so good, you know. He's the best in the tournament by a mile. So it's his to lose, ain't it? It's a free roll for me. So
that feels like a few more mind games there, Madders. Are you trying to take the pressure off yourself?
Nah, we all know Keenan's the best. You know, I've watched his game. He's the best. I'll be surprised if I win this. So like I said, I'm free rolling. Just looking forward to the game.
Now, we've seen some big celebrations from you throughout the tournament, lots of shushing in particular. Are we going to see more shushes come out today if you score?
Do you know what? I actually cut out when I scored my winner yesterday. I ran off my chair and ran around my living room. But I don't know. I'd be surprised if I scored. He's so good at FIFA and he's such a good defender. I'd be surprised if I get near his goal, to be honest.
This is the most I've seen you praise an opponent, I have to say, so far, James. We saw you hammering Callum Wilson. We saw you talking about beating Michael Obafemi 9-0 in real life. What has changed in the last 24 hours to make you seem like you're the underdog in this one?
Yeah, you said it correct. I'm the underdog. Nothing's changed. Just Keenan's so good at FIFA, so I have to try my best. I have to get lucky to win because he's so good.
There we go then, Smithy. I think Madders is definitely playing it down a little bit.
Joe, you can say that again. Playing it down. That is the exact opposite of what I expected from that pre-match interview. I cannot believe what I just heard from James Maddison based on what we've heard earlier on in the week. This is the route, incidentally, that both players took to get to the semi-final stage. So first up, we'll look at Keenan Davis's route. So Keenan, we're looking at pictures now. Your first game was against Liverpool. Jose Enrique, of course, he kissed the trophies beforehand. Of course, he won 2 FIFA tournaments. Did he get in your head in any way beforehand?
No, not at all. I was just playing for the camera. I knew he wasn't going to be up to my standard.
1-1 on the 40-minute mark, but after that, be honest, second half, it was all Keenan Davis and Aston Villa, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was easy run.
We've just seen your celebrations there. It's been great. Very confident, smiling, laughing. It finished 6-1. We've just seen you celebrating there. So you then moved on to your second game, and this was against Charlie Taylor, representing Burnley. Now, Charlie Taylor had already come through 2 matches because he was one of the unlucky players that came through a round 1 qualifier. I think we all expected this to be a little bit closer, but this was so one-sided again, wasn't it?
Yeah. To be honest, I was a bit panicky to play Charlie because his games were.
Why is that?
Because he had 2 games, 2 big teams, and he won. So I was expecting different.
Now, I've got to ask Keenan Davis what it's like for Keenan Davis to score as Keenan Davis, the in-game character. Just talk us through what that feels like.
Yeah, well, when I usually play myself, I don't really score that much because my stats aren't good. So it's a big change and a good change.
A good change. Okay, so that is the route, Joe. 6-1 and 8-1. Keenan Davis, let's have it right. He hasn't been tested yet.
Yeah, not too bad. Maybe the man to test him today will be James Maddison. Maddison, we can see your route to the semi-final as well. Now, you've had to play a game more than anyone else at this level. Do you think it's a positive or a negative you've had to play 3 games and everybody else has had to play 2?
I don't know. How did that work? Was that the luck of the draw, was it? Because I realised that.
Yeah, pure luck of the draw.
Yeah, it's what it is, you know. Probably it might leave me in good stead, I'm hoping. But like I've said, you know, I've watched Keenan's games and stuff, and he looks like the man to beat. So I'm going with a clear mind, a free mind, and just hoping for the best of him. He's obviously the clear favourite.
And in your first game, you played against Callum Wilson, 8-1 winner. Second game was slightly more difficult, I think it's fair to say, against Max Mayer, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And came from behind in my last 2 games. So if Keenan goes in the lead, there will be no panicking on my side. But yeah, the last game against Mcgoldrick, definitely that was a game. That was a really enjoyable game, and I actually I'm gutted that I froze when I scored the winner because my celebrations I went mental because I was that happy scoring myself as well. But I'm up against a different animal today, so and I know that.
Talk to us about when you were 2-0 down against Michael Obafemi. Did you always feel like you were going to come back? Because you were quite dominant in the game, weren't you? Yeah,
I battered him, didn't I? Had all the possession. Nah, to be fair, especially second half, even though I was behind, I just, you know when you're playing FIFA, you know, and I knew I always had a chance. And then I was on top, and he got obviously a bit nervous, and he was feeling the pressure, and he buckled under the pressure, which is something I don't do. So really happy to come out on top in that one.
Yeah, definitely. And that golden goal moment was one of my favourite of the tournament so far. Were there a few sweaty palms when that one was going through one-on-one?
Definitely. I was just wanted to, obviously, a golden goal, so you know once you've scored, then that's it. The game's finished, which is obviously a good format. But yeah, I love seeing that one going. Michael's reaction was hilarious to watch back as well.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Right then, Smithy, should we get on with it?
Yes, let's get on with it. Let's bring in our casters, Brandon Smith and Richard Buckley. Brandon, firstly, I've got to ask you, what do you make of James Maddison's pre-match interview there? Because we've been the exact opposite going into this. Is he playing it down? Is this a bit of reverse psychology, do you think?
It's a weird one, isn't it, Smithy? I think he's always been very much confident in his ability throughout this whole EPL invitational scenario. But maybe he realises that this is a player that we need to be worried about in the tournament. Yes, he scored 14 goals across 2 games, which is pretty remarkable. He hasn't conceded many goals either. But as other people have been saying, has Davies really had a test yet so far in the tournament? I think this is the big test right now.
Richard, do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, the fact that Keenan hasn't really been tested so far?
I think it can go both ways. It can be a bad thing because you don't really know what he's capable of. We've just seen the best of him. We've seen almost the greatest hits. There might be a few stinkers in there as well that we don't know about. But I think overall, as his performance, I've been very impressed. Maddison knows what he needs to do. He needs to grind him down. He needs to sort of just not let him get any sort of lead. In a one-legged game of FIFA, get into half-time at 0-0, snatch it in the second half. This game can go either way.
Yeah, this game can go either way, and we're almost ready to go for our first semi-final, and of course our first match of the final day of the tournament. It's Aston Villa against Leicester. Buckers has got a jacket on for it especially. We're ready to go. Let's hand you back to our casters, Brandon Smith and Richard Buckers.
إذا مشاهدينا الكرام، بداية هذا اللقاء الأول في هذا النصف النهائي بين أستون فيلا وليستر سيتي. كرة لمصلحة فريق أستون فيلا يلعب على يسار المشاهد الكريم. حيلة كينان دايفيس، بينما جيمس ماديسون على دفاع فريق ليستر سيتي. تمشي كرة لمصلحة أنور الغازي، تغطية من بيريرا والتماس مكجي. أنور الغازي، نكامبا، جيلبرت، نكامبا داخل منطقة الجزاء، فرصة الهدف والتدخل. كاسبر شميكل أمام ليستر سيتي، يتدخل بالكيس بارنز من الوسط، تحرك من جانب فريق ليستر سيتي أمام يجري وناشو جيمي فاردي، يتحرك مكانة الأهداف. جيمي فاردي يراوغ ممكنة التسديد، فاردي يحتفظ بالكرة مرة أخرى. ثنائية 1-2 جميلة هذه الكرة، تحرك من العمل الهجومي الذي قام به رفاق جيمي فاردي. كرة لماديسون على تنفيذ ركلة الزاوية، تمشي كرة لأيوزي بيريس أو الإسباني ديدي والفريد النيجيري. ضع الكرة على ديدي، عادت إلى دايفيز على كامبا أنور الغازي. جانب فريق أستون فيلا تعادل بالأهداف. أستون فيلا يحاول، تمشي كرة لتريزيجي، ممتازة هذه الكرة داخل منطقة الجزاء، تسديدة بيتر شمايكل بأطراف الأصابع من أمام جريليش. كرة بالرأس، نكامبا، جريليش مرة أخرى، دايفيز، استلام جميل، دوران، ضيع كرة دايفيز، انطلق بارنيز الآن. بارنيز بالكرة لكن تغطية من هايز. جيلبرت، ماجين إلى جريليش، تمييز متألق جريليش، ثم كرة على أقصى اليمين. محاولة قائمة لفريق أستون فيلا، فوزوهات لكن تغطية من دفاع فريق ليستر سيتي، تبقى نتيجة بلا أهداف. فريق الثعالب يتحرك إلى الهجوم. أيوزي بيريز، أيوزي بيريز، كرة مع ويلفريد نديدي، جيمس ماديسون، جيمي فاردي، ياناشو نيجيري يراوغ ببراعة، ياناشو يبحث جيمي فاردي، فاردي يستلم يراوغ، تفض بالكرة، تغطية من تريزيجي، يعود يغطي والدفاع يتدخل وتعود على ركنية. صراع ثنائي ركنية لفريق ليستر سيتي. أيوزي بيريز، المرة الإسباني سبق لنادي دايفيز، يتحرك دايفيز أفضل الكرة، تريزيجي، جيلبرت، كامبا، مكجي، لفريق أستون فيلا على الجلوس على التارجت مع جريليش. ممتازة التمريرة وكرة الهدف الأول، هدف أول لفريق أستون فيلا، هدف أول لأستون فيلا بالرياض. كينان دايفيس، يجوز يسجل لفريق أستون فيلا الهدف الأول في المباراة. فيلا بارك. ايضا كره اخرى لفريق ليستر سيتي الباحث عن التعادل الان. ياناشو يمر نيجيري، ياناشو ويلفريد نديدي ماديسون ثنائيه خطوات جيمي فاردي والتعادل. حارس المرمى يتعب جيمي فاردي يضيع كرة من الركنية لفريق ليستر، أكثر ضغطا ولكنه أقل تسجيل. أيوزي بيريز تعثر بالكرة، عادت لرفاق تريزيجي الفتى المصري الموهوب. تريزيجي مع ماجين جولبات جريليش مكامبا جريليش خطوات كرة إلى وسط الملعب. من انطلاقة ماديسون مع ويلفريد نديدي، تمشي كرة سريعة لكن ضائعة. واضح بأنه جيمس ماديسون ليس لديه تلك الخبرة الكبيرة في هذه اللعبة الإلكترونية. تريزيجي العكس من كينان دايفيس. جريليش تمشي كرة ممتازة لتريزيجي. سباش ميكر في المكان المناسب. أيوزي بيريز جيمي فاردي لا يهمل تارجت لغطي ماكامبا. أيوزي بيريز مرة أخرى، عودة جريليش هولس ماجين جريليش راوغ وضيع كرة. عودة ماديسون ياناشو جيمي فاردي ياناشو تضيع كرة. حكم المباراة يحتسب خطأ. خطأ لفريق ليستر سيتي. ماديسون على التنفيذ. كرة ممتازة جدا. ماديسون كرة إلى حارس المرمى هنا. تمشي كرة مرة أخرى لأستون فيلا. جميلة.
The referee has indicated there will be a minimum of 2 minutes.
هذا الشوط الأول. يبقى أستون فيلا على ملعبه متقدما بهدف دونات. هذه كرة ممتازة لياناشو نيجيري. ياناشو ولها من تمريرة رائعة والتعادل. التعادل يأتي الآن، تمريرة رائعة جدا من النيجيري ياناشو. جيمي فاردي يتمكن من إدراك التعادل ويا لها من فرق. فرحة عشاق الثعالب، هكذا يأتي التعادل.
Leicester City goal number 9 James Maddison.
المباراة الأول إذا تأتي الصافرات نهاية الشوط.
Yeah, he's been alright. Nothing outstanding, but he's held me to one goal at half time. So yeah, it's good.
And this is the first time we've not seen you leading at the break. Are you feeling a little bit nervous? A few sweaty palms going on there?
Nah, not at all. I'm prepared.
Any changes you're going to make second half? You're going to keep it the exact same?
No, I'm going to keep it the same.
And obviously we saw you score with Keenan Davis as well. You are playing up front really, really well. Do you want to just keep scoring goals yourself? You're going to, at some stage, substitute yourself?
Nah, no chance. I'm trying to keep that going.
All right, I think we're just about ready to go, so I'll let you crack back on. Handing back to our commentary team, Brandon and Rich.
إذن هذه دقائق.
Throughout this whole tournament, but we are just going to have a quick pause.
هدف لهدف بين الجانبين. أيوزي بيريز. بداية الشوط الثاني. ليستر سيتي يحاول. أيوزي بيريز حافظ على الكرة. تمريرة خاطئة تماما من أيوزي بيريز. ديفيس
celebration as well. So he's almost playing Maddison at his own game, trying to throw the mind games back at him.
We do it, didn't we? We saw Michael Obafemi shushing James Maddison, and that didn't end too well, it has to be said. So maybe it's a little bit too premature, especially given that he conceded right on the stroke of half-time.
Yeah, that's a good point, Joe, actually, because a lot of games we've seen throughout this tournament, obviously it's a 5-day tournament, started on Tuesday. This is the 5th and final day. A lot of big goals we've seen on the halfway point. This will give James Maddison a lot of confidence going into the second half.
Yeah, definitely. Loads of confidence. And I'm not overly surprised that he scored a goal right on the stage of half-time. Right, it looks like the game is back. So I will hand back to our commentary team, Brandon and Rich.
هذه كرة مرة أخرى لفريق ليستر سيتي وحاول عن طريق أيوزي بيريز. تبقى نتيجة هدف لهدف إلى حد هذه الدقائق. كرة لفريق ليستر سيتي الآن. على التنفيذ بارنيز. تمريرة بينية والتسديدة وحارس المرمى رينا يتدخل. ماجي باوس مينكس جريليش. حاول فريق أستون فيلا طالما أنه المباراة بملعبه. تريزيجي يمر ممتاز من تريزيجي. تمريرة شيلويل يتدخل يبعد ما يمكن إبعاده. ناشوا لفريق ليستر سيتي بارنيز. الثعالب يحاولون. التركي سويونجو. ماديسون. جيمي فاردي يناشوا على الأرض. جيمس ماديسون غاضب. ماجين الآن لفريق أستون فيلا. ماجين جيلبرت. ماجين أنور الغازي فتى الهولندي. ذو الوصول المغربية. دقائق مستمرة بلا أهداف هذا الشوط الثاني. مينكس أنور الغازي. تمشي هذه الكرات وتستمر. ماكامبا جريليش ماجين ماكامبا لف ويدور. فرصة للتسديد على المرمى. يا له من تدخل من كاسبر شمايكل. طبعا بيتر الأب يتابع. النتيجة هدف لهدف في الفيلا بارك. بعد التعديلات من كلا الجانبين. إذا تستأنف الدقائق. هذه الكرة لجريليش، محاولة ديفيس يلف ويدور، يمكن أن يسدد والهدف الثاني. هدف ثاني لأستون فيلا بعد سلسلة مراوغات. هدف ثاني لأستون فيلا الآن عن طريق ديفيس. حاول التعادل الآن ليستر سيتي. كرة بينية لديفيس، تضيع إلى التماس. انطلاقة من الوسط، لم يتبقى وقت كبير لفريق ليستر سيتي. تمريرة خاطئة من ياناشو باحثا عن جيمي فاردي، غاضب جيمس ماديسون. كرة لجريليش، حاول جريليش مرة أخرى مع أنور الغازي. أنور أمامه بيريرا، يلف ودور، تارجت أنور، ماكجين. أين الحل؟ عندنا كامبا، تمريرة رائعة جدا. كرة بينية، خدوهات والتسديدة والثاني. الهدف الثالث لأستون فيلا بروعة. هدف ثالث يدرس كينان دايفيز. سعيد. إذا بعد التعديلات
Aston Villa goal. Number 10, Jack Grealish.
حاول مرة أخرى خروج جريليش، دخول كونسا، خروج إياناشو، دخول هورست. كرة بينية، فرصة لفريق ليستر سيتي لتبديل الفارق، لكن تضيع. رينا، تدخل من رينا ممتاز. الفرصة كانت لليستر سيتي لتقليص الفارق. كرة بينية، جيمي فاردي، تسديدة في المدافع الأولى والثانية وهدف ثاني. هدف ثاني الآن لفريق ليستر سيتي عن طريق ماديسون، جيمس ماديسون. 3-2 الآن. تارجت، تعود كرة لجيمي فاردي، كامبا، تريزيجي، تارجت، اوشا، تعود للنيجيري نديدي الكرة. محاولة ليستر سيتي للتعادل، نلعب الدقائق الأخيرة.
The fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of 2 minutes.
دقيقتان وقت بدل ضايع، وهي فرصة ليستر لإدراك التعادل. قد يأتي التعادل يأتي فعلا، التعادل يأتي. هذه الرأسية، التعادل يأتي في هذه اللحظات من ويلفريد نديدي النيجيري. إذا نستكمل ما تبقى من الوقت بدل ضائع. وفعلا ثواني ويصفر حكم المباراة نهاية هذا اللقاء على واقع 3-3.
It big time right now. I cannot believe that I've just seen that. There was only 9 minutes left on the game and we saw 2 goals from James Maddison. Never count him out. The same thing happened, didn't it, against Michael Obafemi. Unbelievable turnaround. Keenan Davis changing formation. What on earth was he thinking? It's all gone wrong from that point onwards, Smithy.
Joe, we saw Keenan Davis with the shush. We saw him say to James Maddison, as I said, that he's the best player. James Maddison playing it down, but an unbelievable last moment. Shakespeare eats your heart out, Richard Buckley said. I don't know what it means, but it thoroughly entertained me. And what we're going to golden goal. And surely now you have to put James Maddison as slight favourite because he's used to this golden goal. He came through this in his previous round and he knows how to come back.
I think there's no favourites right now. We're going to see 2 teams with fresh legs. Both of them have had 90 minutes to work out how the opposition played. And let's be honest, the keepers kept them in that game. There was some massive chances for both Leicester and for Villa. I mean, I'm running out of superlatives to describe this tournament because that was an unbelievable comeback by Madders.
And Joe, just to add to the drama, Keenan Davis scored with Keenan Davis. James Maddison scored with James Maddison. And we saw some epic scenes when he got that equaliser as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely epic scenes. We saw it on a slight delay, didn't we? But it was Wilfred Ndidi as well that scored the goal. Of course, Wilfred Ndidi represented Leicester in EPL Invitational 1 and was not very good. He got absolutely hammered, went out first round. So for him to come back and score the equaliser in the 91st minute for Leicester and James Maddison is, like Buckley said in commentary, a script that Shakespeare couldn't write.
Yeah, yeah, a bit of context for that as well. And Ndidi lost 8-2, so he was out in his first game in EPL Invitational 1. And he actually took to social media to say, Jamie Vardy and Kasper Schmeichel will never let me play FIFA on the coach again because Leicester regularly play FIFA on their away journeys. And James Maddison said he's looking to do 1 better, 2 better, 3 better, just looking to do anything better than what Wilfred Ndidi did because he didn't have the best tournament. But Wilfred Ndidi is the man that has saved James Maddison and taken it to golden goal. So I think James might be dropping him a little thank you text after today if he gets through, Joe.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, how about the composure? In the 91st minute, you know, one last attack. Jamie Vardy, most FIFA players are going to try and cut it back, you know, maybe play a ground cross in that situation, but to stand a ball up to the back post for Wilfred Ndidi to arrive at that moment, the composure is brilliant. This game has been so back and forth, and Keenan Davis might be regretting a little bit now saying, I'm the best and you were right.
There he is. We can see him stretch. We can see him get ready for golden goal. Joe, how do you think the psychology changes? Because we mentioned before the game, Keenan hasn't really been tested at all. It's been so comfortable for him. How do you think that changes now going into golden goal? Do you think he must be feeling the pressure now?
I don't know. He's been quite relaxed throughout, hasn't he? We saw a bit of a celebration when the 3rd goal went in. I think he thought the game had been put to bed, but it hadn't. And I just think he'll try and keep his composure. You know, he's a very, very good FIFA player. And if he can just get the ball in and around the box into the feet of Keenan Davis, his own character, yet again, then he's going to cause problems. So I think he'll just try and stay calm, try and stay composed, Smithy.
Yeah, let's bring in the thoughts of our casters as well, because we saw how excited Brandon and Richard got when that went to golden goal. Couldn't quite believe what we saw. Brandon, do you think either of them were looking to make any tactical changes now that we are going to golden goal? Because, of course, as the rules stipulate, the next goal, that is it. You're through to the final.
Yeah, crazy stuff, to be honest, Adam. It was one of those where 9 minutes left. It was 9 minutes left. He was away from sending Aston Villa into another final after beating Leicester again, as we saw in the EFL Cup earlier this year. And when they did pick up that win, he went 5 at the back. You think it's a defensive change that is going to do enough for him to see the game through. But if anything, it made Madders actually play better. He got more players forward, scored 2 goals in 9 minutes. And the fact out of that game for me, Adam, is that that's the most goals, of course, that Keenan has conceded throughout this whole tournament. He conceded 2 up to this point.
Yeah, it's a good point Brandon makes, Richard. That change from Keenan, were you surprised with that tactical change that he did?
A little bit, yeah. I have not seen Keenan Davis play enough FIFA to talk about his tactical changes, but going to a 5-3-2, it's not the most sort of competitive formation. It does invite pressure on. We know Maddison is clinical in the final third. Also, another stat, Smithy, ton up. That was the 100th goal of the Premier League Invitational, and what a goal it was, the drama.
You love a stat, Richard. That is a great stat as well. Joe, the other thing as well, whenever these teams meet, you see the Maddison and Grealish debate, both of them scored. So it just puts to bed that both top players. There's so many subplots developing from this game.
So many subplots.
Yeah,
Not long to go now. I'm just so excited to see this second game commence. Of course, fresh legs as well, which is going to make an awful lot of difference. And I believe the game is about to commence. So I'll hand back to Brandon and Rich.
Thank you very much, guys. 90 minutes wasn't enough. Even 6 goals between the two wasn't enough.
إذا مباشرة من الفيلا بارك مباراة أستون فيلا وليستر سيتي التي انتهت ب3 أهداف ل3. أيوزي ينطلق أيوزي بيريز تارجت يحاول جيمي باردي واضح منطقة الجزاء إمكانية التسديد والهدف الأول. هدف أول في المباراة الآن. هدف أول لليستر سيتي في هذه الأثناء. فرحة جيمس ماديسون. تسديدة في مرمى رينا.
Wow, so there we have it. James Maddison, another phenomenal comeback. He is in the final. Leicester City have done it. Madder's got to come to you first. Your body language is a picture. Talk to us about that game. What a semi-final we witnessed.
You know what? I just want to quote Keenan Davis about. I think it must have been about 18 minutes on the clock, and he said, "I'm the best, and I am the best." And he's just crashed out. So I'm going to go to the final. I'm going to take Leicester all the way. Come on.
Keenan, I'm sorry to kick you while you're down, but I can confirm James Maddison is right. You did say that that you were the best. Do you regret those words now?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Keenan, what went wrong? It was plain sailing. James needed 2 goals in the last 90 minutes. It looked to be fairly comfortable. Just explain what happened in those last 10 minutes.
You know what? I put a 5 at the back. It's just to mess me up.
Can tell Keenan is absolutely devastated. James, you've been the king of the mind games all tournament. You gave us a bit of reverse psychology going into this one. Have you got inside another player's head, do you think?
Tell you what, I don't know any rent because I'm in there rent free. Do you know what? I thought I'd take a little different approach with Keenan because I knew he was a good player. But do you know what? I'd feed his ego, tell him how good he is before the game. And do you know what? It absolutely worked a treat.
Keenan, I've asked a lot of players if they want to see their opponent win the tournament because then they can say they've lost to the eventual winner. But having heard what James says, do you want him to go on and win it or not?
Hell no. I want him to lose. No, I'm joking. I hope he wins. Make me feel a bit better.
Keenan, brilliant. Got to give the last word to James Maddison. James, you are in the final of the EPL Invitational. Just give us an insight into what that means to represent Leicester City in the final.
Just makes me feel. I'll never forget how I felt at Villa Park when we lost in the semis of the Carabao Cup. And obviously watch Villa at Wembley, so that gives me a slight little bit. That makes me feel a bit better about that. But now, all joking aside, that was obviously great fun. Keenan, good player and stuff, and really enjoyed that. So look forward to the final now.
Guys, thank you both. Keenan, you've been absolutely brilliant throughout this tournament. Very entertaining, very gracious in defeat as well. Madders, we'll see you very soon for the final. Thanks very much, guys.
Cheers, people.
Cheers.
Joe, what a game. Matt has alluded to it. These teams actually met 4 times this season, in the Premier League twice and in the League Cup twice. Leicester getting the better of Villa in both league games. But of course, in the League Cup, Villa coming out on top. And Matt is saying slight redemption there for that night. So, I mean, unbelievable first semi-final.
Yeah, that was just class, wasn't it? That reaction from Maddis. And we do now have confirmation that it will be Leicester City that progress to the final of the EPL Invitational after James Maddison defeats Keenan Davis 4-3 on golden goal. We can see the draw in full and the route that James has taken to get here. Of course, you won't be able to see the fact he beat Callum Wilson 8-1 before that Palace game. Then he beats Southampton. Now he beats Villa. Right, we can see the game as well that you're about to see after the break. It will be Norwich versus Sheffield United. Max Aarons versus John Egan, Smithy.
Yeah, it is time for a quick break, but do not go anywhere because Norwich against Sheffield United is our next semi-final. Who will be joining James Maddison in the final? Find out very soon. We'll see you in a bit.